For the record, you know.
For the record.
I Scott Levels do not.
I've done that more than once.
Dell, it's got,
Yeah, just call me.
Looks like it's only the two of you.
We still have 4 minutes, so we'll see who shows up.
I don't know if we should take this as a compliment or as.
I honestly don't know how to take it at all.
Listen, has everybody got the right date? Maybe they're thinking it's tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the only
Yeah,
thing I can
that's
think
right.
of.
They might think it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I sent out correction.
Yes, you did. I
I
saw
sent
it.
out 2 notices about it
Yeah.
And you mentioned it last week.
Yeah.
with the correct date on
Josh and
I
call.
guess I should text him.
November 22nd.
And then Dale sent out a notice anyway saying that he was out of town, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, I should have I told everyone else that.
JFK's anniversary.
Crusher yesterday. I should be here.
How about any of the new one? No? What do you think the new elected officials?
The fate of the world is in our hands.
Good.
Yes.
The fate of public works and fire.
It's our world.
Yeah.
Someone just walked in.
Yeah.
Sounds like Josh. I think.
Mayor's sick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, mayor's sick 2 weeks there, right there.
Nice distance between the 2 of us.
No, they're.
It's Joe.
Joe, did you see anybody out there?
Paul's
right there.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
How you doing?
Boy, you get your pin dropped in this place, huh?
I know.
Wow. Who died? The Cubs won, why didn't they call you? How you doing? All right.
Counselor?
Counselor?
Oh, hi, how you doing?
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
All right.
I sent you a text, actually, if you were coming.
Oh, I'm on vibrate. I'm coming.
We were a little worried.
No, remember, because I wanted to make sure it was Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Send me that.
You don't have to answer.
Come on.
Oh, thank you. Yes, 'cause we need to- I don't think I need to. Careful, everybody.
It's 5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock, all right, let's get started. So, Mike's.
The mics?
Mike's.
R.C. Michael Brody, the Superintendent of Public Works.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. As you know, the dynamics of the department, the lot of responsibility that we have to take care of the infrastructure, the roads, the sidewalks, to the city of Plattsburgh. We decided to look at a 3-year plan and look at changes down the road the department needs. So I am going to defer to my number 2, Mr. Michael Bissett, and we're going to go through our 3-year plan with you. And then we are ready for questions after, if you choose to ask, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Very good. Mike?
Go reverse order? Okay.
Okay.
I guess this is just that, like some of the other department heads mentioned, it's a little bit of a shock when you ask, you know, where we stand currently with our finances, is, you know, what would you like in the future? You know, starting off at a very minimum, we'd like to see our staffing numbers remain constant at where we're at. That would be probably the very minimum. Currently in place, we have a draftsperson position, along with engineering technician, which was approved, I believe, 1 year ago. Upon retirement of the draftsperson, who's scheduled this summer to go, we'd like to see that position remain intact, to keep on with the mapping program that we've come up with, and also utility location duties. It's proven to be really a large portion of our staff's time in that aspect. The other reason being, in the last 18 months, we've lost 3 people who helped fill that position in various forms as an on-call person. Third item is in the 3-year plan, we'd like to add an MEO position or an HEO, motor equipment operator. We currently have 1 on staff with no backup. So if we have back-to-back, say we work an 8-hour shift and have to fill someone in, we don't really have a qualified person on staff to fill that.
Is motor?
Motor equipment operator, there's motor equipment 1 through 4. 1 and 2 are truck drivers, 3, 4 are heavy equipment. Excavator is primarily the tool we're talking about here.
That's the one that you.
Yes, we currently have a 3 position. We'd like to do a 4 and make 3 a training position. So we always have someone, 2 guys, basically we can send 2 crews out. Another thought that we had is with the buildings that we have been tasked to take care of, and it's been talked about quite a bit, building maintenance, you know, air conditioners, light bulbs, what have you. There's a lot of things that we are often asked that are beyond the skill sets of our standard maintenance people. Higher level, you know, we have laborers, maintenance 1, maintenance 2.
So you're talking about other city buildings?
Other city buildings, which include, you know, we work in City Hall, City Court, Police Station,
Station,
MLD on occasion. So we're looking at possibly positions of tradesperson, like a building maintenance person, a true plumber, plumbing, heating, electrical skills, carpentry. So two people in that capacity. The big one, and Mike and I have been working on this for about 18 months since I've been here, is departmental reorganization. The task we have currently is trying to attract qualified personnel to move up the chain, and when you have to start at such a low level, our people come in as a laborer, so essentially they're riding a garbage truck. And they could be there anywhere from 6 months to 3 years before they get to move up. So there's a lot more attractive jobs in our community, particularly with corrections, for instance. There's a big hiring going on. I think we have three people currently that are looking that way. If Norse Titanium or any of these other companies come in here, I'm sure they're going to offer some attractive jobs at similar rates. So it makes it a lot more challenging to get qualified personnel. So to reorganize, work with the union, the HR department, and try to come up with a better entry-level position, maybe slightly higher paying, but also more specific skills off the street, more qualified people, so we can specialize and basically get back to the basics, the maintenance work that we need to do here. So we're looking at 4 more people in that department also.
But you're having a potential loss of 3 people this coming year.
Yes, that's correct.
And what skill level, where, are they laborers?
The 3 we're losing one maintenance one MEO, and then we're losing a drafts person.
So you have, now, you said at the beginning that you have a drafts person, you want to maintain that.
Yeah,
Is
so that would be the one we
right?
replace, correct.
And the MEO operator, you were looking for a second one, but you're possibly.
We have one currently, but we'd like to create a new slot, make an MEO 4, which would be a higher level, which the current MEO could move up to that. The MEO 4 would train MEO 3.
And so who are you potentially losing as an MEO?
We're not losing anybody.
Oh, I thought you said that for the corrections.
No.
Okay.
We're losing potentially a maintenance 2, a maintenance 1, and a laborer to corrections.
The lowest level pay.
One of all 3 classifications.
The drafts person is one of those people who's.
Drafts person's, no, he's retiring.
Oh, retired.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the last one that we've come up with, and it was brought up at previous work sessions, was position of office manager, and another position we were talking about is garage supervisor. Both would be management positions. Our reasoning behind that is, again, we've lost 6 of our senior skilled employees, people that were operating at a, maintenance supervisor, our high-end office people, our MEO, they were all basically supervisory positions, and we're kind of weak at the top of the staff right now. And what that would allow us to do is to basically provide better, not only cost control, supervision, immediate supervision, and do all the things that we lost. Because, you counted up 6 people plus an additional 2 or 3 this year, we're down 8 people.
So that's not just 3-year planning, that's for you, short-term needs.
Well, it's 3 years. It's not gonna, you can't ask for all this at once.
Yeah. Well, you can ask.
You can always ask, yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you guys have any questions for Mike on that, on future planning issues?
Why threw it out there?
No, I just always have a hard time reading these slots.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
What are the total number of openings that you have now that are unfilled?
We have 4 openings right now.
You had 4.
We have a maintenance 1 and 3 laborers, and possibly 4th laborer, because we gave a position up last year when we did all the cuts, remember? We'd like to get that back, because we have the garbage, 4 of the laborers work in the garbage service, and 2 of the laborers worked in maintenance. We have 6 laborers altogether.
Yeah.
We just advertised to fill 3 positions, 3 laborers positions, and 1 maintenance 1. And what happens in the union, the guy, the lower positions move up to the higher positions, and then that gives you another vacancy. So that's what we're potentially looking at filling.
And
That's all been budgeted for, by the way.
That's in the 2016 budget?
Yes, it's all
Yes.
been budgeted for.
Where is that in the budget, if you don't mind my asking? I'd just like to look at it.
Refuse, Mike.
Refuge.
Under refuse, yes.
Anybody know what page number that?
Yeah, that's separated from
Everything else.
everything else.
Yeah, it's, I would,
Waste collection?
Waste collection,
Waste
yes.
collection.
Okay, page 15. Oh, I'm sorry, page 14.
Yep. So it was budgeted for 2016, it's in 2016 budget. And that's why the actual 2016 actual is not close to the 2016.
That's correct, because we're missing. positions.
Down by about $75,000.
So then, is that good feeling? Did you want to follow?
Yeah, for now.
Since we're right on that line, you've got the budget to replace those positions, and then there's a 20% increase in the 2017 budget. Am I right? Remember that there?
You know, that's the return, one of the laborers that we lost, plus you had the ASME pay raise.
Yeah, it's comparing column 2 to column 6. The original budget for 16 versus the original budget for 17. That's where the 20% increase is.
Is,
It's not looking at the 232,802, it's looking at the 225,392. See column 2?
yeah, sure, because the 2016 projection is 225, you know,
And see, the revised budget for 16 has the ASME increase in it.
oh, so the 232 has the increase in it?
The ASME increase for this year,
Okay,
and the retroactive pay for this year.
right. So,
And that 2016 actual is through September
Today,
30th.
through today's payroll. Well, my number is
okay, yeah,
182,357.
mine is an older print.
You're probably looking at an older
Yeah.
version of it.
So the,
Mayor's budget.
So it's a labor position, that's the difference between a 232 and a 270.
Yes.
So you want to add one laborer next year? Is that the?
We want to get the position back that we took out last year.
Yeah.
Now, that helped budgetarily wise for your payroll spot. If you had, did you incur any overtime due to lack of that to other people in that position where you could have, if you had another worker?
Yes, that would help, especially with all the special events.
Right,
that
it
we-
would alleviate the overtime.
Right, but it was, with all the special events that we have to maintain and put bodies on the weekends, and
Right.
that helps a lot. And we don't have to put a higher paying individual in.
Right.
We have another
Yeah,
labor.
I think what you're getting at though is, anytime we work a weekend though, we are gonna incur overtime costs, but we could put in a lower level employee.
Excellent.
Right. Okay.
You know,
So
that,
there's no figure to how much overtime you incurred, as comparison if you would have had a regular laborer?
I don't have that calculation off the top of my head,
I mean,
but,
that's
yeah.
pretty detailed to find out, but what I'm trying to allude to is that if we do that, you'll also have another laborer during the week to cover.
Correct.
So if somebody calls in sick or something else, you still don't have to drag and pull.
Plus, as we explained, we get laborers and we have to take our laborers and train them to become maintenance one guys.
So it takes time to do that.
And we have enough guys, we can rotate them, because we need 4 in the refuse business all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have 2 on the recycle truck and 2 on the garbage truck.
And what we end up doing is during vacation or sick, we have to work people down
Right.
to cover those slots.
Right. So if you had another laborer per se, you wouldn't have to worry about working that person down. Say he's maintenance 4 or whatever, doing a lesser job, getting paid that much money at the lesser job pay.
Right,
Correct.
maintenance 1 usually.
Yeah, right, and then, okay. And I agree with you what we talked about last week, where we'd like to try to get people that want to stay here for a while. And then you wouldn't have to incur all the advertising, the interviews, and turn around, people going here, people going to corrections. Make it a desirable job, a desirable place to work, rather than just a stepping stone to go somewhere else.
Right, that's the important of the 6th laborer, because we rotate the guys off the back of the trucks.
Right.
You go out in weather like this, you want to sit in the back of a garbage truck?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we like to pull our guys off and rotate them,
Right.
okay? So that's why the 6 guys really needed back, so.
so, and, I assume that under all the street administration, street maintenance, there's differences in regular pay increases, some of which is attributed to ASME.
Well, you see, some of it's at 4%,
Right,
so we're looking at, actually, you got the 2016 and then part of 17 in that, you pay raise. So they get the retroactivity, okay?
what, help me remember, the projection for 2016 under street maintenance, snow and ice. Did we, what did for the materials, supplies?
Yeah, because we had a good season,
Yeah.
we're about 800 ton ahead so we cut back on our pre-order for salt.
Remember, we ordered 16 or 1,800 tons, we dropped it to 1,400 tons this year.
Because
Of salt, and we have to be committed to buy salt. We
Right.
can't just, buy so much, we have to commit to the tons. Because they go out to bid on it. And we're only Clinton County on that, by the way, they all the little towns and county, we all get together and they bid the salt. Get a good price that way.
So we have a lot of salt.
We have a lot right now, yes.
Yes.
And I don't know what kind of year we're gonna have, you might get a year, really, really icy, really, a lot of snow events, then you're gonna use a lot of it.
Do you have a typical year's worth in stock now?
We have about 800 tons. Usually we'll run maybe 1,600 tons, 1,800 tons, depending on the year. The average year, I'll say around 1,600.
Our bins are full, so we can hold basically, a worst case scenario is 1,600 ton plus, we can hold half a season.
Plus, we have a shared service with the DOT on South Peru Street. We store up to 200 tons there. That's, we don't have to drive all the way out to Reeves Lane. We just go right there and they upload us. We're right in the city, so.
Where is that savings reflected in the budget? Would that be in the 2015 figure or?
It'd be-
2015 actual was 147,000 for materials and supplies, and I assume most of that was for salt.
Well, there's other things there too, salt and sand.
It would be-
Sand also.
Yeah, but it would be 2016, and we're down from the originally budgeted from 224, we're down to 166 budget in 2017, Mike.
Okay, so you anticipate buying much less? next
Yes.
Yes.
year. I see. Very good, very good.
Parking lot, is that under you?
Yes, sir.
Again, it continues to add to my complications and confusion when it comes to your guys' department, because you're so spread out with the areas. I would try to recommend, I would push it if I was staying around another 2 or 3 or 4 years, that anytime there's a budget area that comes out through you guys, is to have every single department under what you have for auspices, and not one on page 12, one on page 14, one on 23, one on 17, because that makes our jobs so much difficult. I can't imagine how it is for you guys. I don't know why it can't do that, so I'm suggesting for future budgets and numbers wise, to put them together. Wouldn't you think that'd be a lot easier to follow? I mean, maybe not for you because you're so used to doing it, but for me as a third year looking into a budget, and actually the first year we really didn't do a lot because it was the council before that had done all the work on it. Like we're trying to do all the work on it for next year, and it probably won't be decided on until then. For confusion wise, if I was new coming in, I still feel new coming in, as far as looking at these figures. It is really, really complicated for me as a counselor and trying to figure out what to do on budget when I'm jumping page to page to page. So if we could, I know in the past, you've been very accommodating and helpful, but it's still so confusing to me whatsoever. I don't know about how these guys feel, but I know if my successor, I hope he isn't as confused 3 years after as I am 2 years after about that. I wish he was here to hear that.
Yeah, he's not here, he
But
walked.
he just went out on the phone, so
Tell him.
I'll talk to him. I'm thinking about that also for the mayor-elect, to take a look at that. Maybe he can work on doing something like that next year with the finance and how it goes, because it is definitely a real complex thing to work on.
This is my sixth one of these.
I don't know how you do it, Mike.
I'm finally comfortable with it. Just about.
No, I'm not gonna run it in, don't worry. The 3 years down the line. But I mean, I understand it, but isn't it, don't you think, I mean,
Yeah,
you're
right.
I'm, as a common folk coming in to represent somebody in a ward that doesn't know all this, it's a very complex workings.
And then you throw in a third, and then.
Yeah, well,
Then it
exactly.
really goes out the window.
I know. So we talked about it the other day. I'm like, boy, my head is spinning. So again, I will repeat that for my successor. Pete, I was just mentioning that the DPW has spots in this budget that are on 8 or 9 different pages. So I'm saying when they bring up the budget and what they're overseeing, it should come up where you know every department, every area you have. So it'll be a lot better, easier to work with. I know you're gonna come in, well, maybe not, you're a lot smarter than I am, so, it just would be a lot easier to do a budget if that was blanketed under you or something else. Every department that oversees another department, or there's a little, like the rec complex and all that stuff, that's all mixed up too, so. It's not where you got library, it's all library, you know what I mean? And finance is all finance, and they're not over here, they're not over there. And that's still 3 years post-starting, it's still like that. So maybe that.
I want to go back to, are you done?
Yes, sorry, it takes so much time.
Maybe you could like have a memo or something.
I'm not memoing it. You just heard it on record?
It's on record.
It's on, that's what
I wanna
we're on
go-
record saying.
I want to go back to the positions that you're budgeted for. Are you hiring by the first of the year? You're looking right now?
We are attempting to fill by the first of the year, 3 laborers and 1 maintenance one.
You are or you're not?
We are.
You are.
We've already advertised, and we're getting the applications, and we're going through the applications, Mike and I.
Okay.
And we're gonna fill them, and we would like to fill, or get that 1 laborer's position back.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna, my next point I was gonna get to. So
Okay.
you are gonna have the 4 workers hired by January 1st. You want your laborer's position. What is the salary and benefits of that 1 laborer's position that we asked you to cut last year that you want back?
30,
It's with the payroll burden, I think Richard at one time gave me
What, about 35,000?
35 to 38,000.
And about 40% for benefits,
Yeah.
depending on the healthcare they choose.
Okay.
So it's about 50,
49, yeah.
49, 50. And you've already put somebody in, or in the process of putting somebody in one of those positions, right?
Not this one.
Yes, we did hire
Just,
because a person got promoted,
Right.
made a
Right.
vacancy.
yeah.
So we filled that
That's not a
position.
new one, that's.
Right.
I got you.
Okay.
Right.
Do you guys have anything else?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I missed the time.
Thanks for all your work.
You know, you set up expectations.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, if anyone you have questions, just call us and we'll gladly sit down with you. Really, we'd like to make it as clear as possible so we know, what we're doing. As you know, we got a lot of responsibilities,
Yes, you do. Nuts and bolts.
okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael and Michael.
And would you like to come and talk to us? Angela Chappelle.
Hi, Ian.
Hello, I've just come from our library board meeting, our monthly meeting.
Because people want to know that for the,
Angela Chappelle, Director of the Plattsburgh Public Library. Yes, we just had our monthly board meeting. We have a finance committee that meets each month the week before the board meeting and goes over.
Can I just interrupt
Yeah.
you for a second for the benefit of,
listen,
Oh, your pages.
for you guys, page 42.
yeah, I got it. I got you.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. I just want to sort of, I think you know this, and because, we're a little bit different, because we're a municipal library, and in that case, the city allocates a certain amount of money to the library each year, and then it's up to the library internally to decide how that money gets spent. And also, the city chamberlain is our official treasurer, according to that education law. So Rich attends our monthly finance meeting every month, keeps us up on track. We've been integrated into the whole Munis system, so, we can do a lot of that ourselves. We're trying to do more. On top of that, with that budget committee, a finance committee, we have a finance chair, a CPA, who takes all of Rich's numbers and also creates an Excel spreadsheet each month. So we really track a lot. We're very unique in that way. We do a lot of things ourselves. That said, we're asking for the same amount of money that we received last year, which is we had asked for $751,458 was what we asked for last year. We plan to come in right at budget this year. It will show, Rich can speak up or correct me, but it shows a $98,000 deficit coming in at the end of this year, but that is correlates to $120,000 surplus from last year. It's about this state construction money coming. We received the grant for the elevator money last year, spent it this year, so it evens itself out. I think this is a good budget for us. We've really kind of made do over the years. Payroll, we've had some empty positions, some nice opportunities. We have a new librarian starting Monday. They're not particularly well paid. But I think that we have been very responsible with our budget. We have some new initiatives, to Dr. Casper's question about what we're doing in the next 3 years. The board just approved moving forward with building a coffee shop in the library, a coffee bar, and we'll commit to the infrastructure, which could be about $15,000. We've been squirreling that away for all these capital campaigns or projects. And then,
An outside vendor?
yes, we would lease it. I've been working with Dean. There would be a lease with all the insurance requirements. There would be a term and a payment amount, and so it would be self-supporting, and that vendor would be completely responsible. It would be off-site food preparation, but they would work with Department of Health, and they would do the food preparation. So there's we've done a lot of work on that, and Dean's been great about giving me the specifics about what we have to do. So right now, the board is fully supportive of the idea as something that's new. The other thing that we're working on long-term is next year, right now, we're the newest downtown outdoor art mural. And part of that mural is an interactive, we're calling it the Marble Machine. It's Marble Machine Society. This is bringing the Adirondack P-Tech and the physics department from the college and a lot of the robotics teams, hands-on making type things, and integrating that with the mural creation. And hopefully it is going to spur our maker space, which we've been working toward with small grants. But I think the idea is that we have a space that's probably this large that we're cleaning out. I don't even want to know what's in there, but it's getting cleaned out. And it's just a big junk room. It's the same size as our auditorium, and it's just magazines and junk. And it's ridiculous, yes. And I brought Paul over. He was amazed. That is going to be our beginning makerspace. And what we'll do is we'll work with these groups that are working on the mural and the interactive. How do you get marbles 8 feet in the air, have them run across the whole wall, and then sprinkle down and look like rain? And this is their charge. And so they're meeting at the library on a regular basis. And things that they'll need for this project, like we've been waiting to do a 3D printer. We'll get a 3D printer that will accommodate maybe making the leaves for the tree or something. The robotics team is looking for a new home. So I guess our goal is just to not try to just create something and say, okay, it's cool and everybody's going to use it, but rather to address these community needs. And we're also working with the whole downtown revitalization, where I know that a makerspace and a small business incubator were part of the project. And I've had a great meeting with Josh and Karen, and again, building these partnerships. And I think that's where the library can become more relevant as we move forward. Well, the one thought was way in the back to draw people in and sort of in the reading area. Another thought was right when you walk in the door, but I think that would be really congested.
Yeah.
And then originally, back in the 2004 renovation, they had sketched a little spot when you come in the door and you go to the left into the computer space. It's a little weird because you have all your computers and then you'd be offering your food and beverage, but I think that it could work. And there's, of course, the plumbing and the electric and all those things that I never in a million years thought I would need to know about. But I think that's probably going to be the best spot just to get people in. The other thing is cleaning out our book collection and opening up more space right along the windows so that, we offer that space. So I think the response to our downstairs kids' room with our new librarian and doing some small make kind of things down there, and it's been really positive. So I think that if I survive, everything is moving forward. And I think that I would say that I think we really need this whole amount of budget. We've been very good. Our budget is back at the same level it was in about 2007. Our payroll line is back down to where it was, I think, in like 2005. I mean, we've been sort of towing the line here. But I think that this is a good level for us. And the one other quick thing is because of our status as a municipal library, we have to report to state ed. And if there's any more than a 5% decrease in our funding from our municipality over the average of 2 years, then we lose our state funding, which is about $90,000. So we're trying to balance that as well. So I'll take your questions.
Do you still ever want to do some wildflowers out there?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I want to do the corner garden. I want to,
Yeah.
what was your word, de-asphalt
Yes.
the corner and build a big garden there. And the plan was that green space would tie in with the mural is going to be, it's like Learn and Grow and something, and it's based on Kate Messner's books with Over and Under. And so there'll be like a gardening theme, and then to take that green space next to it and create some kind of an outdoor kids space maybe, so flowers, maybe a little path, maybe a statue, something like that. So definitely that's in the plan.
Good. Well, I don't have any questions. I think you've got great plans and sounds good. Mike?
You took the situation you were given, how many years ago has it been now?
3.5 long years. No.
And you improved on it greatly.
Thank you.
And you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Thank you.
And you also seem to manage that by actually spending less money, which makes me happy and makes our taxpayers happy, of
Yeah.
course. So I think you're a model for the rest of us to follow.
Thank you.
Good job. I do have one concern about the coffee bar. We received an email from Kathy Livingston about putting an antenna on top of the police station. That then becomes taxable property.
Oh, interesting.
So it could be that a for-profit entity moving into the library could create the same thing. So you'll want to check that out. And in the lease, the proprietor of the coffee bar would probably be on the hook for real estate taxes.
That's interesting. I know that the next step beyond my board approving it, we need to come to you, ask to come before you, and there is a piece where the council approves the lease of a city space on the basis that it's not needed for public use. That's a clause in this like 241-2 that Dean has given me. So that's interesting. I don't know anything about that, but I definitely will ask.
I'll forward this email to you and you can follow
Thank
up
you.
on it.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Well,
Wow.
is that kind of related, like if it's at the crate and there's a vendor there, do they have to pay taxes, Richard? So wouldn't that be the same type of thing?
No, it's different.
Because it's municipality?
The crate, at beach, those kind of concessions, they're not really leasing the space, they're using it and paying a commission to the city.
I got
This
you.
would be leased space,
And they wouldn't pay anything to the city?
which means if it's leased space, then it's taxable.
Okay.
And has to be available to the public because it's being used for public purposes.
Right.
So in the lease value to the city, you can include the property taxes are gonna be the impact.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm learning more than I ever imagined I would. Other questions?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amy.
Chief?
Fire chief, and make sure you let everybody know who you are and who you represent.
Definitely.
Streaming name.
Scott Ellis, Fire Chief. There you go. So, over the last year, we've made a lot of improvements to the department. You'll see that we are going to be acquiring the Swiftwater trailer. This is going to give us capabilities to get people out of the river and water. Within the next 2 weeks, we've been working with the Adirondack Task Force on that. As you know, we have the foam trailer. We've done training and taken care of meeting that need also. Looks like we're going to be starting up a confined space team that's going to help different manufacturers in the area. Then when they have to do a confined space entry, that it'll save them some money. It's going to be at no cost to the taxpayer because they will be paying salary plus benefits. And it'll help with us with our training. So all of that has been going on the last year. We're looking forward to this year. We're going to be working with the Sheriff's Department as far as getting more into the open water in case there's any emergencies out there. They've been having their boat staged down at our marina. We've been in contact, and I've been talking with their lieutenant, and he's been in contact with the sheriff. So we should be a go with that. The downside of this year was that we tried doing the second ambulance. We met some resistance, so we've got to work on negotiating that. What you're going to see is in my 1,200 account, it went up dramatically. That was looking forward to about $90,000 worth of an increase that we would have recouped in our revenue from the second ambulance. I'm going to be adjusting that and decreasing the 1,200 account by 90,000 until we can negotiate and go forward. I think it's a good plan just due to the fact that we aren't going to be asking the taxpayers to front money that we don't have a service for right now. If it gets to the point where we want to use it, and it can happen as the overtime comes out, the revenue is going to come in, which isn't going to be a cost to the taxpayer. That would raise our daily manning from 6 men to 8. At no cost to the taxpayer, which means we're going to have would be much better for all of our responses: fire, EMS, hazmat, weapons of mass destruction, confined space, trench rescue, and the Swiftwater, which we're doing right now. You see an increase of 1,100 in the 1,100 account. That was for a second manager, because with all the training, that's what that position does. It gives me a second person there. And it would actually decrease some of the 1,200 account. With the training, I don't have to go off-site with it. I could have somebody that could come in and do that.
And what is the cost of that position with benefits?
With benefits, straight salaries, middle 80s, 85, 86,000. Rich, with that,
130?
Well, the fire benefits are
40.
a little more expensive because fire retirement's 30% alone, so you gotta call it 50 to 55, depending on the healthcare choice once again.
that would be moving the person, I would actually be using a captain or a lieutenant position to move up into that. So everybody would move up, and then the backfill would be at the lowest end, which is 49,000 for a new hire. That's with salary and benefits.
That's a regular firefighter. Everybody else would go up.
Right.
I want to interject because I've been the liaison at the fire department for the last 3 years. And time and time again, over these last 3 years, I've seen a lot of departments get, in fact, I even mentioned it at the last work session that I thought one of our departments was a little top-heavy on staffing. And I just felt that I was beating a dead horse to try to get some help, some managerial help for the fire department, and because it wasn't going to happen. If we look back, it wasn't happening before my term. In fact, they didn't even have a chief. The police department, Chief Rascal had to help overseeing, doing all kinds of work, and was over there splitting his duties. And the last 3 years, there's still only one position in the managerial, and that's the chief. Now, I know Chief Stone mentioned a battalion chief. I know they talked about assistant chiefs. Just with what Mike has been asking for DPW tonight, he talked about management and keeping people around, give them something to work for. Scott's young, and there's not a lot other than that captain spot that there's work to look into. But I think there has to come a point in time that the fire department gets some help in the managerial part of the department. There's 36 people working in the department.
36, myself makes 37, plus I have the billing clerk slash
Well, the
secretary.
building clerk is how many hours?
The billing clerk, she does, it's a
There?
40-hour position, she does 5
She
for,
has 5 hours at the fire department.
no, secretarial at the fire department.
Okay.
The rest of the time is spent with all the
Billing for
ambulance,
you, right?
all the
Your
ambulance.
department, okay.
Yes,
So there's really not a lot, and they've been neglected for 10 years now. I think something needs to happen in that aspect, because the fire chief is going all over, doing everything. He does the scheduling, does the this, does the that, and I think it's well worthwhile somewhere down the line that he gets some help. And like I said, for me to work on that and try to promote it, it wasn't gonna be. I just, somebody, and even in the 7 years previous, wanted that to happen, so maybe that can change. And I push to get some kind of supervisory help in the fire department, whether that be a battalion chief or an assistant chief, no matter what the cost may be. I'm done with that spiel. Thank you.
in going forward, we're looking at 3 years. I know that we need to do, we had talked about a bay expansion, the Station 2. That's our newest station that was built in 1957. As we know, with the aerial, trying to fit these new trucks into the old buildings is problematic, especially with all the heavy construction that's starting to, in the development that's starting on the south end. I would really like to see the truck that, I know Councilor Casper came up and over and looked at the one from Ferrara, that they were willing to give us at a reduced rate, and they were also willing to do it as defer payments for 2 years. So that's something maybe look into, but we do have to do a bay expansion. You know, there's, with the second ambulance, I just look at the second ambulance and being able to raise my manpower to 8. That would give me enough men on duty to be able to handle emergencies, to give me 3 people on an engine over at Station 2. With all that development, means that we can do things simultaneously, not sequentially, which means I don't just go from one task, stop, then go to the other. There's multiple things going on. So that would be my big push for the next 3 years, with everything going on.
That could be additional revenue.
It could be, if it pays for itself and we raise our manpower and our ability to handle emergencies at no cost to the taxpayer, I think that would be our best.
I sat down with Chief Lawless yesterday, looking at the overtime spot. I said, you better cut that down, because looking at the past and how it is, it's his first budget he's sitting down through, so he said, I'm just trying to expect that, so.
Right.
I think that's why he said he's gonna drop it 90,000.
I went back through the budgets and actually looked at the 2008 budget to this year's proposed budget with the battalion chief in it, and the increase is 121,000 since 2008. That's what the overall budget increase has been for the department. So,
That's for the entire budget.
Yeah.
yes,
How much again?
$121,564
Over 8 years.
since 2008 to our 2017 proposed.
Nine.
So,
I noticed you reduced your lines on several of them.
that was maintenance to the vehicles. With the purchase of the aerial, the reason we maintained it high, that aerial, it was problematic to get parts.
Repairs, right?
Right, and we have the new ambulance that we've purchased, that'll be in January. Our newest ambulance is a 2008, and we're running 3,000 EMS calls a year. So they're starting to get to a point where they're breaking down, but we've addressed that. We've got the new ambulance coming in, the new aerial. Still having some issues with some of the older engines, but I don't want to drop it too drastically the first year, but if we keep moving on, we could probably keep that going down a little bit.
Good. then the overtime, obviously, is a glaring issue on.
Yes, and we've worked, as we've addressed in a lot of the meetings, different ways to try to combat that. I get pulled by civil service, then I get pulled by general municipal law, and then I have contractual issues. So between the three of them,
Do you feel like this is not under your control?
it is not under my control. What's under my control is the training, but then again, I need to be able to meet compliances, OSHA, New York State, everything else that I have to talk to Department of Health.
What we talked about is that you could put in a budget a figure of anything you want in an overtime thing, but you don't know what's gonna happen until it goes through the year. You could have a big year with a lot of overtime. There could be other years that aren't gonna encompass a lot of overtime. This looks to be kind of around the same amount per year, so it's, you know.
Right.
I thought that 300 was a pretty drastic jump, you know.
Any other comments or questions from the chief?
Thank you, Scott.
Just keep working
You're welcome.
on it, Scott, and appreciate all you've done. It's been a pleasure the last year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other general comments, questions?
No. We don't have to.
Well, I have to say, it's been very lively and engaging. Nothing else?
No.
Short timer?
1 hour back.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Sorry.
Because I'm going to use the whole story. Yeah. So I'm going to use the whole story, but I thought I would just get an update from you. Sure. So